prepared a special video, guys. There's lots to dive into today. That's more like it. Hey fellow Force users and fellow superheroes, what is up? It's Jasmine, the AhsokaTanoFan, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that intro and my British accent. I know, it leaves a little bit to be desired, I'm not gonna lie. But I thought I'd have a little fun with it. Fun fact, actually, when I was a kid, I used to just speak in a British accent sometimes for fun. I don't know. I was a weirdo. I still am a weirdo. So that was my Steven, and now I've transitioned into Mark. So guys, we are now heading into the finale of Moon Knight. And yeah, there's lots that we have to see happen in this episode. Or maybe we're gonna see some of it left open for a possible season 2. But I was reading your comments. Actually, speaking of comments, one of you thought I might have cosplayed as Layla, which would have also been awesome because I do like Layla. There were quite a few of you who mentioned the fact that we likely saw Jake in the last episode, and actually not just that episode, but other episodes prior. So far, he's been kind of just subtly hinted at, but not directly named or referenced. More specifically, with last episode, you guys did mention how we saw, you know, Mark with a bloody nose at one point, and we saw him pick up that pyramid like he was going to stab Arthur. And so you guys were saying that that is likely to be Jake that we saw there. Yeah, that would definitely make a lot of sense because there are kind of a lot of blind spots in this storyline. You know, even looking back, there's a time where he was fighting those guys in Egypt, and then all of a sudden he had a transition, and then he killed all of them, and then both Mark and Steven said it wasn't them. So that was, I guess, presumed to be Jake. But the question is, when was Jake created? And this is something that I posed to some of you. There's a possibility that he wasn't created until adulthood, more specifically when he went AWOL. Or it's possible that he might have created Jake as a child also, and Jake might have been created as a result of the beatings that he endured at the hands of his mother. Yeah, we have to see what will happen there, whether or not they'll address that in this episode. And some of you also made some Wanda parallels, which is cool because both characters, you know, Mark and Wanda, have been through a lot of trauma, lost a lot. We kind of see how they cope with that pain, how they kind of create their own reality, so to speak. And that's, yeah, we saw that happen with Mark creating Steven, and then Wanda obviously with creating the Hex, right? And some of you also just talked about dual identity disorder or a split personality disorder and how it's handled in the series. And I'm gonna agree with you guys on that. I think it's been handled really well. It's a very realistic portrayal and it's very relatable. Mark feels like a regular person who's been dealing with so much trauma. This is how part of how he copes with it, but he's also a superhero, and it's kind of a unique take that we haven't quite seen this far in Marvel. And lastly, one of you mentioned this as well. We've been kind of focusing on Mark and Steven in recent episodes. We've kind of taken a step back from the rest of the gods, and so we kind of have to figure out what role will the gods play here, and who's going to resurrect Mark, you know, and who's going to free Konshu. And is Layla going to be able to do it by herself? This episode seems like it has a lot to cover. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into the episode and see what's in store for us.
Mark, we've got this.
Yeah, we saw the death of Steven there, right? No. So I wonder if he's going to be in those fields still, or are we going to see him be resurrected now? Okay, so we are going back to reality now. He's gonna be resurrected, I think. Who's picking him up there? It looks like a man's arm. So I kind of wonder, that whole afterlife sequence we saw, oh, it's Arthur. Is that what he goes through every time he dies? Because in the beginning of the series, we would see him on the ground. Remember, he had to crack his jaw. It looked like he died and came back. So is this where he's going every time? Oh, they got Ammit. She's still there. Does he not know she's there? She's really his only hope. So she's got to free Konshu somehow so that Konshu can resurrect him.
Who wants to heal the world?
So are we gonna actually see Ammit appear the way we've seen Konshu, like in the flesh, or is this happening during the time he's in the afterlife, or is this happening right after? She almost looks pissed. She looks pissed and ready to go.
It's alright, it's alright. It's alright.
Oh man, he's about to deal with him right now.
You need to show us your soul. This is the face of a good man.
So did he just take him over, or is he just letting him go because Ammit determined that he was good? Well, that's her, right? Layla? She's out for blood.
Layla, wait. I am the goddess Taweret.
Oh! Was that his avatar? Her avatar?
It's
Taweret?
Mark telling you to stop.
I know one of you actually thought that her avatar might have been the little girl from the first episode. That was also a good thought.
Shabti. It's in the
Doesn't
temple of
Arthur
the
see
gods.
her though?
And you can be my avatar. I'll fight him on my own.
I think I might have taken that offer, bro. Those are the
Our
goddesses.
gods felt it too.
What does it mean?
Someone is trying to release Ammit.
Harrow.
Oh no. Oh no. Don't act all shocked now. This is exactly what Mark tried to warn you about, Marc and Konshu. But you didn't want to believe him and you wanted to imprison Konshu. It's your fault. We tried to warn you all. So does Arthur not know Layla's there? Oh, she's gonna try and find Konshu, okay. So that answers our question. It looks like she is gonna free Konshu by herself. Oh. Oh, so that is Ammit in the flesh. What's she sound like? Come on, get Konshu, Layla. It'd be so crazy if she killed him.
My penance might correct my imbalance, but I see now that's impossible. We must spare the world the pain I will cause.
He's ready to die.
What lies ahead of you is your service to me.
It's all over the world whose scales balance perfectly.
This guy is really ready to die for this girl. Why are they so rough with them? Arthur threw it on the ground. Layla stepped on it. Konshu,
He died.
my dude.
If Mark is truly gone, I am in need of an avatar.
Oh, so Layla will be his
Protect
avatar, which is exactly what Mark
travelers
didn't
of-
want.
Joking. We'll work together without me enslaving myself.
Let us purify the souls of Cairo.
Is Konshu gonna appear? Huh. Konshu said, "You thought."
Konshu.
Come on, Mark. You need to come back to the real world now, man.
We need to go back for him.
I have a feeling he's gonna have to choose between trying to go back to save Steven or coming back to the real world. It's so strange because what he's doing is incredibly selfless because he's sacrificing his own happiness to go back and save someone else. But then it's kind of weird because that someone else is himself.
Looking pretty rough, man.
I don't think he's gonna be able to save him. I don't know.
But I tried to protect her, and I failed.
Whoa.
There's no way now I'm gonna abandon you.
So you're just gonna die too? Plot twist. Mark and Steven die and then Jake prevails. With the heart, right? Oh. Oh, for a second I actually thought that Steven was gonna be the one to go on and live and Mark was gonna die. But it looks like he just saved them both. Oh, hug it out. So cute.
The gates are open.
Oh, Konshu, for a god. You
Wow.
are known.
Battle of the Gods. Like basically the fate of the world relies on this fight. So is this technically a duel of the fates? My Star Wars fans? God resurrected. Wow, so he resurrected himself. The bullets. Ah, the suit. It's been so long.
I'm curious about something. How's this whole new arrangement going to work then?
Even Grant, I was not speaking to you.
The old bird.
I will release you both. You have my word.
Also, he's gonna release them.
Oh, all right. You know what? I think you can take this one, Mark.
Hurry up, idiot!
That's so cool how he went into the moon there.
How do we stop Ammit?
These gods are looking pretty stupid right now. They should listen to Konshu from the beginning.
We need to imprison Ammit in a mortal form.
In a mortal form. Oh, so she can't be released? I would like to think that that would mean Arthur would be in prison, but what I feel like she's either gonna have to choose from one of the deceased avatars, or she's gonna have to like sacrifice herself or something and offer to be Ammit's avatar so she could be imprisoned. The way she said that kind of sounded funny. Oh shit. Did you just take her over?
Oh, your father is going to be over the moon when he hears.
Oh, but he's not alive anymore, right?
My father?
Yes, I know.
Or is he still alive?
Took him to the field of reeds. I have a fabulous costume.
Oh, I can't wait to see her costume. If we'd seen it in a previous episode, I might have cosplayed as her. Oh, she's judging everybody? So people are just gonna start dropping, I guess? So some people are gonna die right now. This is bad, man. This is so bad. Oh, look how big she's getting. Oh my gosh. Now we're gonna see her emerge with her costume, Layla? Nice! That's so cute. I like that. Wow. So they're gonna be fighting alongside each other, I guess. Her and Marc. Konshu grew big too. They could do that? Well, I guess they're gods. They can do anything. Why does Ammit kind of remind me of Godzilla or something? Oh, damn. They was trying to have a nice dinner.
Be at my side.
Yeah, the fights are definitely paralleled. When Konshu's losing, so is Marc. When Ammit's winning, so is Marc. Oh! Yeah, she reminds me of like Hot Girl or something. He's falling in love all over again.
Wow, you look amazing. What are you wearing?
Why fight, knowing you will fail?
It is my choice. The very thing you take away.
Exactly. This is pretty cool to see them fight together, I can't lie. So I think, guys, so far we haven't seen Jake this episode, right? I don't believe so. That's so cool. That was in one of the earlier trailers, I think. That move where he kind of threw his blade to the side. I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to imprison Ammit, though. Did they just destroy his cane thing? Oh no. I think they're trying to, though. That's like reminding me of Wonder Woman or something. Something like that, kiddo. Something like that. So I guess when you become an avatar, you just know how to fight. Because even Marc/Steven is a really good fighter.
I'd been allowed to rule. Young Randall's life would have been saved. We need only remove one weed from the garden.
He's a good bad guy. Did he just like burn his costume off? See, my question though is, can the people of Egypt see Konshu and Ammit right now, or only the avatars? Oh my god, please. What's he doing? Taking his soul? Uh-oh. Oh my god. Oh, he just changed into Jake, right? Whoa.
Not a chance, mate.
Who else is dead? All the civilians? Not Layla, right?
What the hell was that?
OMG. And Konshu doesn't look too good. That's kind of surprising. Is he dead? Because if he's dead, that was such a quick death, like unexpected almost. No, he's not dead. That was definitely Jake. So it seems like when he's under extreme stress, that's when Jake comes out. That is scary. Oh wow, so they're not even just imprisoning her, are they like destroying her? No, they're imprisoning her with an Arthur.
Finish it.
Oh, he wants her.
Neither of them alive.
He wants them to kill. Is this Jake now? This is Jake. Must be.
Oh, you sound just like her.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking.
Now release us.
What do you mean release us? It's only you that's his avatar, right? Not Layla's Taurot's avatar. He's not back in that asylum, is he?
For how long?
How long is a piece of string?
He's bleeding. So we had a choice to stay there, I think, or come back to reality. He's back in his bed. Is he chained again?
Meth.
Yeah. You know, that actually resembles in the asylum when he was restrained to the wheelchair, right? Wait, is that the ending? Okay. Because this is the final episode, I am gonna just make sure there's no end credit scenes. I kind of took a peek and it looks like there is an end credit scene, so we're gonna wait. Yeah, even the credits, they do a good job of transitioning between the asylum and the tomb, you know, and what's not real and is real. Okay, what's this end credit scene now? Let's see. Wait, so is Arthur in the same asylum? Who's that supposed to be, Mark? Or are we gonna see Jake somehow here, maybe? Directly? Oh my gosh, this is most certainly Jake, right? Or are we gonna see some other type of villain? That's not how you transfer a patient. Konshu.
You want to know something?
This must be Jake we're gonna see.
Mark Spector truly believed that I wanted his wife to be my avatar.
Oh, he's gonna make Arthur be his avatar?
When he has no idea how troubled he truly is. Meet my friend, Jake Lockley.
Jake, yeah, it is him. Okay, hang on. So what's gonna happen here? Is he gonna kill him? Did he actually kill him? Wait, he's speaking Spanish. And in the afterlife shot, there's a Spanish song that was playing. So Jake is Spanish. Mark is American. Steven is British. That means that Konshu is still going to be controlling Mark through Jake? Hang on, I have to think about this for a second. So just as we've been talking about the third personality, Jake Lockley, they finally showed and confirmed that there was even a moment while they were fighting earlier on, Mark was fighting Arthur, that he blacked out and then, you know, he killed a bunch of people. So we kind of knew, I guess, that, you know, Jake was bound to make a direct appearance eventually. Yeah, we saw him appear at the end there. I'm just kind of trying to break down that scene. It looks as though Arthur was in the same asylum that Mark was in after he died. And Arthur, it didn't look like he died initially, but it looked like he was imprisoned with Ammit in him. So I guess that took him to the same mental space as Mark. Could that imply that that Arthur has the same condition as Mark with the dual personalities? I'm not sure. But anyways, we see him in that asylum, and then we see Jake come in and kill a bunch of people. And then it looks like he might have killed Arthur. So does that mean that Arthur and Ammit are actually dead for good now? Because they were just kind of imprisoned at first in this asylum, and now it looks like he actually killed him in the asylum. So I think that might mean that he's dead for good. Had Mark been killed in the asylum, I think that he also would have been dead for good and wouldn't have been able to be resurrected there. I'm getting the impression that Konshu released Mark and Steven, but is still actually latching on to that third personality, Jake. What is that going to mean? And going forward now, is Konshu going to be the villain because he basically is using a killer as his avatar, right? That was good. We got to see what happens. And also Konshu looks a little different too. He didn't have the regular armor that we're used to seeing him have. He was in the suit, the same suit that Steven wears. So yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to imply that he's changed somehow. As I mentioned during my reaction, Jake speaks Spanish, it looks like. When Mark was in that afterlife, in that field, the first time they showed that field in the last episode, there was Spanish music playing in the background, right? So I guess that was kind of a subtle hint that Jake was to come. Yeah, I'm kind of getting the impression that Konshu is going to be bad going forward. If that's the case, it makes you kind of question everything we've learned about Konshu and Ammit thus far. Because we kind of looked at Ammit as being bad here and Konshu being the good guy. But is Konshu perhaps proving us wrong here? Would Ammit have been in the right to get rid of Konshu and prevent him from doing this? I think it just shows, as Arthur's been saying all along, it's all a matter of perspective. What's considered good and what's not. Arthur considered Ammit to be good, and Mark considered Konshu to be good and just. I'm curious to see if they will follow up on that at all. I know one of you was wondering if Moon Knight would somehow make a cameo or some sort of appearance in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which is coming out this week. I'm so excited for that. Definitely possible. They kind of left things open-ended there, and now that Moon Knight is done and Doctor Strange is coming out, maybe the timing would be perfect, right, to show him briefly in the movie. I don't know. Yeah, anyways, speaking about the rest of the episode, we saw a lot go down. First of all, Layla had her big moment. She became Tarit's avatar, and I think that's how you pronounce her name, Tarit? Anyways, yeah, hopefully I'm not mispronouncing it. But you saw Tarit, she was speaking to Layla and saying something about her father, how she met him. And I don't know if that's implying that either Layla's father's still alive somehow, or he's somewhere in the afterlife and can potentially be brought back to life. If so, that definitely leaves the door open for her getting her father back potentially in the future. Or even if they wanted to do some type of spin-off with Layla, they could do that, where she's trying to free her father or something like that. She had a pretty badass moment, and she got her own costume as well. It was cool to see her fight alongside Marc. Up until now, we've seen her support him in many ways, and the two of them have a lot in common. Their love and passion for Egyptian mythology, and they've gone on a lot of adventures together. And so now we're actually seeing that taken to the next level, where she's fighting alongside him also. I'm curious to see if she's still her avatar or not, because Konshu released Marc, but I don't know if Layla's been released too, right? But that whole fight sequence was cool, and you could tell she was also stunned when Marc killed all those people, or should we say Jake. So she definitely does not seem to know about Jake, which is huge. And it maybe tells me that Jake doesn't come out that often, because she knows about Steven, so why wouldn't she know about Jake if Jake, were a regular occurrence? It seems as though Jake only comes out when Marc or Steven are under extreme pressure, when they're about to die, because he was almost about to die there at the hands of Arthur, and then he had the moment where he blacked out. So a couple moments to talk about from the episode. I liked how in the beginning Marc went back for Steven. I kind of mentioned this in my reaction, but it was such an interesting moment because on one hand it's so selfless because he's going back for the other person, but on the other hand it's kind of interesting because that other person is himself. He took a risk. He didn't know if it would work, and that ultimately seemed to open the gates back into the real world, and it looked as though he had the option to kind of live out his life in the afterlife, with eternal peace. That's what was mentioned during that scene by Tarit, that Marc had achieved the most peace that he ever had in his life, right? And we know that from watching when he went through as a child, and he chose to forsake that, to leave that, to go back and save Steven, right? And the more I think about it, actually, I think he really wanted to save Steven because Steven reminds him, or represents rather, his brother in a way, because he and his brother kind of used to role play, right? So you could argue that him doing that was kind of him trying to hold on to that piece of his brother that he still held with him. But that was a nice moment where they really kind of got to understand one another. If you look back early on in the series, they were kind of at odds. They're kind of making sly remarks to each other, and Steven kind of took jabs at him, calling Marc the American, and I'm gonna take his bag and I'm gonna go to the cops. That was early on in the series, and now if you compare that to how they were in this episode, they've gone through a lot of growth with one another, and they definitely understand each other at their fullest now. And then I guess that it just implies that he really would not have been able to live without his brother. That's how he felt, his brother being Steven. I think that's how he looks at him. And that is quite literally the case, because had he not gone back for Steven and done what he did, he would have lived in the afterlife in that field rather than going back to reality. So in so doing that, he was able to resurrect himself without the help of Konshu or any other god. So I think that was pretty huge. He's more than just an avatar, and he does have these extraordinary abilities separate from Konshu. I like how we got to see Layla free Konshu. She kind of took matters into her own hands. And she also showed the ability to kind of think and act quickly. And then of course later on in the episode, we see the battle between Ammit and Konshu. It was kind of cool to see Ammit in the flesh finally, because she's been obviously alluded to this entire time. It's not only these two gods fighting against one another, but two different philosophies. One who thinks that they can rid the world of evil by eradicating the choice of evil, and the other by punishing those who have chosen evil. So it's kind of an issue of choice. The issue of letting people have the freedom to choose, which may result in some bad outcomes and bad choices, or just removing that choice altogether. So it was quite literally, a duel of the fates, as I talked about in my reaction. And their fighting definitely seemed paralleled with their avatars. It seemed as though every time Konshu was losing, Marc was losing. and vice versa with Arthur and Ammit. The only thing I would say that I might have liked to have seen more of were the other gods. I think it would have been kind of cool to see some of the other gods in the flesh here and kind of have an all-out battle of the gods. That would have been cool. This probably was the only episode to do that, but instead it kind of focused more on just Ammit and Konshu, which was still good, but I think it would have been cool to see the other gods as well. And I want to talk about Arthur too, his relationship with Ammit. He's such a complex character because he's definitely intended to be the villain in the series, but you can just tell he really strongly believes his own philosophy, or should I say Ammit's philosophy. So much so that he's willing to sacrifice himself. He flat out said to her, I'm imbalanced and I'm ready for whatever, you know, punishment you give me. I'm ready to give my life. His relationship with Ammit is kind of almost different than Marc's and Konshu's. Konshu kind of found Marc at his lowest point. Obviously he was dying. He gave him a chance at redemption. You could also argue that maybe he was kind of exploiting him a little bit because he knew he didn't have many other options. But I wouldn't as much say that Marc believes Konshu's philosophy to that deep a level. I think he kind of more had to go along with Konshu because that was his way out at the time. Whereas Arthur seems he really believes in Ammit's philosophy. He was even getting emotional during that scene. And then again, you know, like we talked about the ending scene there, kind of makes you wonder who's really the bad guy here, because Arthur seemed like the victim. But yeah, guys, overall, great episode. It was a great wrap up of the series, or I should say season 1, because we don't know if there's going to be another season 2. So it's a good end to the season, and yeah, it was definitely an interesting series. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in the future, should they choose to show us more of his story. Anyways, guys, you let me know what you thought down below in the comments as always, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you all for Kenobi. Until next time, guys, take care and see you soon.